Crockpot season is in full swing, and I've got 3 new recipes for you today that are so warm and cozy, you're gonna love them. Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making. Today's video is really special because I am collabing with some friends of mine. I'll tell you more about that later, but let's jump into this first recipe. If you've been around a while, you know that there is a baked potato soup that we love. I have a whole video just dedicated to it. It's this one right here. I'll link it below if you wanna go check it out. It's my dad's baked potato soup recipe, and we swear by that recipe. That's the only one I ever make. With that being said, I am willing to try another one, especially since this one is in the crock pot and it's super easy. So just know we will be comparing this one to my dad's recipe, but this one sounded really good and it's very easy and it's got bacon in it. So let's make it. To my large crock pot, I am adding all of our diced potatoes. I did go ahead and peel these, and then I'm dicing them pretty small. The recipe calls for about 3 pounds of potatoes. This is gonna make about 8 to 10 servings. So I plan on having this for leftovers tomorrow. Now on top of our potatoes, I'm gonna throw in 1 large onion that I've diced. The recipe calls for 8 cloves of garlic minced. So I just grabbed, I don't know, a lot of garlic from my refrigerated minced garlic. We are gonna add some salt and some pepper. It's about a teaspoon of salt and about a half a teaspoon of black pepper. The recipe also calls for about a teaspoon of garlic salt, a tablespoon of dried parsley flakes. If you're using fresh, that's fine, but you'll wanna pretty much triple it. Do 2 to 3 tablespoons. And then lastly, we just need 6 cups of chicken broth. Okay, that's it for now. We're just gonna put the lid on it and we're gonna cook this on high for 4 hours. I was just kidding, totally forgot. Earlier, I cooked up a pack of bacon, and you wanna reserve some for the top, but I'm going to put some of it in now. I'm just gonna tear it up and put it in now because that's really gonna enhance the flavor as it cooks. Obviously, we're gonna get that good smoky bacon flavor in here. So I think the recipe calls for 10 pieces of bacon. I did not use that. I just used a pack of my Butcher Box bacon. I just felt like 10 was a little excessive, but you do you. So now what I'm gonna do is go through and just mash. You can use an immersion blender. I have one, but honestly, I just want to try and mash my potatoes to get the desired consistency. So let's do that. Okay, so I don't want mine completely smooth. So you can see there's still some bits here, but I feel like I've gotten the larger chunks mashed up. Now we're gonna add in about 2 cups of sour cream. I'm gonna stir that around, kind of smooth that out. So the recipe calls for 3.5 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. I've got about 2.5 cups here of a block that I just shredded. And then I also have some Velveeta on hand. I had just a little bit of Velveeta left. So I'm also gonna add that in because that's so creamy and smooth. I feel like that would be a good addition as well. And then if you still want a thicker consistency, you could definitely do like a cornstarch slurry, but I feel like this consistency is pretty good. It's thickened up now that I've put the cream in there and all of this cheese.
When it's cold outside,
I know.
This is right up my alley today.
Yeah.
All right. That is really good. Oh man, it's like creamy and cheesy. Mm-hmm. A little bit of bacon flavor in there too.
Good.
That is really good.
Okay, so.
Very much like a loaded baked potato.
Okay, here's my question. Mm-hmm. The baked potato soup that I normally make, that's my dad's recipe, that's creamier than this. It's like a thicker consistency. Or this one.
Well, they're similar. Seems like the only thing that's different though is that there's more cheese in this.
Yes, there definitely is more cheese.
Okay.
Cheese.
Yeah. Is there sour cream in this?
There is.
There is?
Yeah, and there's sour cream in dad's recipe too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like their, I don't know. I feel like the one that your dad made tastes more similar to a loaded baked potato.
Okay.
This is like that plus a little something more because of the way the cheese really comes out.
Okay.
I put them neck and neck, really.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm excited. I'm going to dig in. Little ma'am, I gave you your cheese. Yeah. Great. Okay, for our second meal, this is a twist on a classic chicken taco. These are queso chicken tacos. Okay, this is so super duper simple. I'm cutting the recipe in half. I'm only doing about a pound, maybe a little over a pound of chicken breasts. Since I am cutting the recipe in half, I'm not going to use quite 3 tablespoons of taco seasoning. I just make my own taco seasoning. I'm going to add in maybe 1.5 tablespoons or so. And then lastly, we won't use this entire thing of Rotel because that's what the full recipe calls for, so we'll use about half of this. Okay, that's it for now. Later on, after the chicken is done cooking, we will shred it and then we'll add the cheese in. So I'm gonna pop the lid on here, and this is gonna cook on low for 3 to 4 hours. It has been 4 hours. So let's check on our chicken. Now, the notes in the recipe says that if there's too much liquid in here from where the chicken was cooking, you can drain some of that off. So I'm gonna take these chicken breasts out so that I can start to shred them, and then I may remove some of this liquid as well. I didn't remove every bit of the liquid, but a couple of spoonfuls of liquid I got out of there. We're gonna add our shredded chicken back in. And remember, this recipe is called Queso chicken tacos. So let's grab the queso. I am just using this white cheese dip. It says it's restaurant style. You can see it has some of the good stuff in there as well, like diced green chilies. The recipe calls for 1.5 cups of this. We're just gonna eyeball this. I don't want it too cheesy. Is there such a thing? I think there is. I'm gonna reach down here and get some of the good bits off the bottom. Let's stir all of that together. And this is still on low. We're gonna let it hang out here on low for a little while just to let this heat through. I've actually got some rice on the stovetop. I'm making Mexican rice. I've made that many times before. I've got the recipe on my website, mandyinthemaking.com, so I'll link that below.
We having tacos on Friday. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Man, look at them. Get you some.
I've got some avocado here and some tomato. The grocery store was completely out of lettuce. No lettuce at all in my grocery store. Yep.
Not to fear, because the avocado is here. This is good. This is really good. I'm not big on chicken tacos.
I know you aren't.
But these are good.
Okay.
There's like a, I don't know what that sauce is in there, but it's kind of like a cheesy, spicy.
It's queso sauce.
Creamy. Okay.
There's queso cheese sauce and Rotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That's really good. That is amazing. Really good tacos.
Okay.
I was a little skeptical.
You were a little sus.
I was like, I don't know about that now.
But now,
you did really good.
Thanks.
There's so much you can do with this.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, man, you can just.
I mean, you can make this into burritos and pack the rice on there with it. You could add some beans. I mean, you can do whatever you wanted to. All right. Well, I'm going to dig in. I chose hard shell tacos for mine. Baby. Really quickly before we get into our last meal, I did want to tell you that today's video is in collaboration with 3 of my very best friends here on YouTube. You probably know all 3 of them already, but just in case you don't, I am talking about Jessica O'Donoghue, Amber from Feeding the Birds, and Carla McKenzie. We have done a Crockpot collab in October for at least last year, maybe even the year before. We like to collaborate on this because we know that y'all love Crockpot meals as much as we do. This past week we got to get together and hang out, and we got to decorate some pumpkins with dried florals. We had such a good time. So once you are done watching this video, I'm going to have all of their videos linked down in the description box. You can go check out each of theirs, and they're going to be sharing some of their favorite Crockpot recipes as well. Okay, and for my last Crockpot recipe, tonight we are making a vegetarian chili. I've had comments lately asking for no meat meals, so I thought this would be a good one. And spoiler alert, it was really good. We've already eaten it, but it was so much better than I ever expected it to be. I can't wait to make this one again. Okay, I am cutting this recipe in half, if I didn't mention that earlier. So I'm just using 1 can of stewed tomatoes. Now this can is just a regular stewed tomato. The recipe calls for Mexican style stewed tomatoes. So to kind of make up for that, I'm going to add an extra ingredient in that the recipe does not call for. Okay, the other ingredient I'm going to add in now is just 1 chipotle pepper and adobo sauce that I have chopped up. I keep these on hand in the freezer all the time because it's very rare that I will use, I don't even know that I've ever used an entire can of chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. I usually just use 1 or 2, and then I just put the rest in a little baggie and freeze it until I need it. Next, we're gonna add in a can of pinto beans that I have drained and rinsed. Something our recipe didn't call for, but again, I had on hand, were some carrot sticks. These were matchstick carrots that I had in the freezer from another recipe that I'd used not too long ago, so I thought I would just add those in. Let's add in all of our yummy veggies that I've already diced. I used my dicer today just so that everything would be uniform. We're gonna be using 2 cups of V8 juice as our liquid. And for seasonings, you just need some chili powder, some onion powder, some cumin, salt and pepper. I've already mixed that up here. I'll have the exact measurements linked in the description box below. We're just gonna let this cook on low all day long for about 8 hours, and we will have a yummy vegetarian chili tonight.
All right, so visually, it's a little more soupy than what you would probably have in a traditional chili.
Sure.
Chili's a little thicker, but that's okay. Combination of the veggies there, that is looking good. Wow, really smoky. The veggies, that's where it's at. I mean, it's like it's very similar to a vegetable soup, but like smokier.
Okay.
And the juice or the soup is a little bit thicker than that.
Yeah.
So definitely the tomato-based soup plus the smokiness of the chipotle seasonings.
Yes.
And then the vegetables enhance the flavor of it. It's really good. The beans, the pinto beans,
yeah.
my favorite. Goes really well with this. The seasonings are really good. The chipotle has that real deep, smoky flavor to it that just goes really well, and the vegetables kind of mellow that out, and
Sweet.
It's really good.
Okay, I'm gonna dig in. I'm gonna give you all my thoughts in just a second, but I have to give this Southern kitty her cornbread. Okay. Can you come here? There you go. She loves cornbread. I really feel like it almost has that meatiness to it because of that smokiness and all of the veggies in there. It's really great.
We love you!